game, right? I had that problem of effort over the length of the game.
Yep.
What I would do is I would either I would only put full effort into things, right? To make them as exciting as where all the crazy shit is happening.
Yep.
And if I ran out of effort or time or money,
That's when the game ends.
I would just end the game, right? I wouldn't use do low effort to lengthen the game. No Skag Gulches,
Yeah.
right?
You sell Skag Gulch, the DLC, to the addicted people.
No, I would no Skag Gulches ever.
All right. We'll do this. Time of crisis. Oh, we got one person watching. Crewmeister.
Go away,
up?
Crewmeister. You must have something better to do with your life.
I don't know. Maybe not.
What did Crewmeister say?
Oh,
there?
now we just doubled. He said, what's up? Now double the number of people. Or up to 2.
Crewmeister, you have a valuable life.
And he wants to watch us.
There are things you could be doing with that life that are productive. You could be making your own podcast. You probably got better shit to say than we do, right?
All right.
You could be working on your skills, playing a video game,
Chris also said he will watch to correct us if we're wrong about anything.
eating delicious food.
All right, let's start this.
Chris, I know you definitely have better things to do. You could be playing this game instead of listening to us talk about this game.
I got some surprising things to say about this game that I thought of when I was mulling it over in the melon heart.
Your melon heart?
Yeah. All right. It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, Time of Crisis, the Roman Empire in Turmoil, 235 to 284 AD, the board game.
Which time of crisis? Was this the Nero time of crisis or the
So to be
Goth
clear,
time of crisis?
This Time of Crisis game we're going to talk about is the crisis that almost but didn't destroy the Roman Empire.
Oh. So
This
it was a crisis, but it was averted.
Yeah, this is the
at
one
least
that
temporarily.
This is the one that ends when our boy Diocletian comes in and says,
Oh,
"Yo,
your boy."
Yeah, the guy who comes in is like, "Yo, guys, listen."
But way before the aptly named Commodus.
Yep, Commodus.
But after Caesar, Nero,
Yep.
Claudius, all those Roman emperors you know.
yeah,
After them.
I feel like you've heard of a few of the people here if you paid attention in AP Western Civ, but otherwise,
Yeah, Anthony and Cleopatra way in the back.
So yeah, as you noticed, we're back doing Geek Nights pretty regularly. Like I told you, that hiatus would end, and once convention season kind of
Also,
ended.
it's Tuesday, the easiest day to do an episode.
We have
Please
five
send ideas for
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, specials,
especially
videos,
Monday,
everything.
Wednesday, at least we have a little bit. Monday and Thursday, we really need stuff.
Well, Wednesday I got a lot more because
Send ideas for Monday and Thursday ideas.
I'm powering through the second half of Carolyn Tuesday.
After doing shows for how many years? 15 years. We run out of idea.
Yep, because we do not watch anime every single day like we used to.
Yeah, but I play games every single week-ish.
Yep. Well, also, not to get into meta, but we go to a lot of gaming cons and a lot of generic nerd cons. We don't really go to other cons.
Going to an anime con wouldn't give me. I don't watch more anime at an anime con. It
Nope.
wouldn't give me more Wednesday shows.
It used
But
to
when I
back
go to
when
a
we talk
gaming-
about cons.
Right, when I go to a gaming show, I
Yep.
play games, and then it gives me more Tuesday shows. I could go to every. I could go
Scott,
to every anime
we got
con.
someone just gave us a really good suggestion.
Yeah.
Tech News Roundup.
No, you gotta wait 2 more months.
So in some gaming
Tech News Roundup is for March.
Before we get in, it's coming up. I'm ready.
You're ready.
That clock rings once a year.
Okay.
I wake up and I'm like, what are we going to do the Monday show? Tech News Roundup. Is it true? And I have to look and double check the last time we did it. And then I say, Scott, let's do a Tech News Roundup. And Scott will always say,
So
we just did one. There's no way. And then we'll look because I deleted the one we just did from the CMS. And then we do one. All right. So in some news, as you guys know, I still play Overwatch a lot. Overwatch is my favorite. You got your games that you play because they're new.
when did Overwatch come out?
A few years ago?
How many years ago?
3-ish?
3-ish. All right. So, I played Netrunner for X years. You seem to just be playing Overwatch for about the same number of years.
The thing is, Overwatch for me is like Tribes 2 and Weapons Factory in that if they were still playable, I would probably still be playing
Well, I
them.
think the difference is that Netrunner requires significantly more effort to play.
Yep.
Right? Whereas Overwatch, you can just play whenever. If there was a way to just play Netrunner legit digital, not the bullshit digital that all the
But
fans...
like you go to a ready room, you're like, I want to play.
Well,
and
they
then 2
have.
seconds later,
The fans made one. I just thought it was garbage.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if they had a good one, and that was the
I mean, yeah, we
real
could
legit
play
one,
Tribes 2 if we get those executable files on the internet
Right.
and run a complicated
then
network.
I'd probably still be playing it. So So
Yep. But the Holy Grail for me, this is not the Holy Grail for the game industry. This is Old Man Rim and the kind of game he wants that no one else gives a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
The genre I miss the most of games that I've liked over my life is first-person shooter, team-based, capture the flag.
Oh yeah.
Like that shit just gets me going in a way that is
Well, I mean,
somewhat
we played
unhealthy.
Capture the Flag IRL,
Is great fun.
and that was what inspired Capture the Flag in Quake.
I mean, look, even like
which is just faster Capture the Flag with rules that were properly enforced and guns.
because like even summer camp capture the flag with its vague ass rules, like you don't even have a paintball gun usually, still is way fun.
One thing, is that real Capture the Flag in real life, there's a million variants.
Yeah.
But we always played some sort of variant that involved taking prisoners.
Of course.
And the Quake ones pretty much never have prisoners. You kill someone and they respawn.
Yep. Prisoners
I
would be
think it would be
good.
cool to have some sort of digital Capture the Flag FPS with the prisoner mechanic, where like
Yeah.
you kill someone, they're in a jail, so now you're rushing the flag, or do you rush the prison to bust everyone out?
So because Overwatch is based pretty heavily on games like Action Quake 2, like it's from that era, and in the arcade part of Overwatch, they keep making like fun game modes and they try stuff out. They keep tweaking and re-releasing different versions of Capture the Flag. And when they first tried it, didn't work that well for a lot of reasons. I don't want to turn the whole show into this, but they keep tweaking it. They made a new tweak real recently, and I think they're on to something.
What tweak did they do? What could they buy?
They made it faster.
Okay.
Like,
Why don't they just make all Overwatch faster?
so all Overwatch is already reasonably fast compared to most FPSs like today.
Is it Quake 2 fast?
Nothing's Quake 2
Right,
fast.
so it's not fast.
But what they did with CTF Blitz, a new mode that's in the arcade, like right now, they moved the flags closer together.
Whoa.
Yeah, like way closer together. They put the flags now where they only, in the normal CTF they had previously, the flags are kind of far apart in bases like traditional
So
CTF.
is it like an Icy World kind of feel?
It's more like an Icy World kind of feel.
Because you're just throwing
But
into a... And
bigger. So the way it works is, the old like 2 fort maps, there's like the base and then there's the flag room.
Yeah.
In regular CTF Overwatch, if the game is a tie, the sudden death, it's the same map, but the flags are like
On the bridge?
really, yeah, they're like on either side of the bridge. Fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
They basically put the flags in a situation like that from the start. They make you get more captures. When you die, in normal Overwatch, there's a long respawn timer before you come back in.
Instant respawn?
Instant respawn.
But you respawn way in the back.
You respawn way in the back, but you also move faster for like 10 seconds after you spawn. So it's like old Quake 2 style CTF where if you kill someone, they are instantly running straight back into the action from spawn screaming.
Okay.
They made a bunch of other changes I'm not going to get into the details of, but the end result of these tweaks is it's not perfect yet. It still has flaws, but from my like fairly like deep intuitive and mechanical understanding of CTF games throughout their history, this feels the closest to the feelings of old CTF FPSs from the Quake 1, Quake 2 era of anything anyone's made up to this point.
Still not Tribes 2.
No, of course it's not Tribes 2. Tribes 2.
See, Tribes 2 is the exact opposite. Flags as far apart as
Yep.
possible.
All right.
Where's the flag? Let me use my binoculars.
Yep.
I sees it.
Oh, you want to get over to the enemy base? All right, get someone to spawn a truck. Everybody get into the truck.
You can walk, and the game will be over by the time you get there. You can use your jetpack. That's pretty reasonable.
That'll take a while.
Or you can fly in this fighter jet or take a bike.
My goal in Tribes 2 often was to be a medium guy and fucking make my way all the way over to the other side and make a tiny base. Like
It's like, oh, the enemies didn't even... The map is so big, that you didn't even see any enemy players, but you approached the enemy base and died because it has automated defenses that don't suck. They just shoot at you and you die.
So in some other news, Rocket League is doing the obvious thing that I was surprised they still supported these.
Yeah, I mean, so Rocket League, when it was new, did a great job of supporting all the platforms, right? It was pretty much on everything. It was on PS whatever, Xbox, PC, even Linux, Mac, Switch. It's just on everything that could run Rocket League. They're like, yes, we will be on every platform. And they had crossplay as much as they could. They had crossplay. I would be on PC and I'd open up Rocket League during the time I played it, and lo and behold, oh look, there's PlayStation people playing against me. All right, and it was like that from the start.
And I remember people even like making the point, and I would kind of argue with them that, yeah, like there's a huge thriving community of Linux and Mac gamers.
I don't remember anyone saying that, but I do. But there are those people who do play on Linux and Mac. They don't have a lot of games to choose from.
Yep.
So the games that they do play, they will be loud about, right?
Yep. They'll be loud about.
It's like, oh my god, a game is on my Linux. I'm playing it like crazy. And that's my game, and
so
I'm all up in.
So if you're a game developer,
and if you're the kind of guy who plays games on Linux or Mac, you're the kind of person who's loud about it.
Yep. So if you are a game developer and it's a multiplayer game, theoretically, by supporting Mac or Linux, you'll capture like 90% of that audience.
Right. But because Rocket League does have so many players, that audience of Mac and Linux Rocket League players is still 0.3% of all active Rocket League players.
0.3%.
So I didn't think it, was taking them a lot of effort to support those players, because it looked to me like they had some sort of really good, cross-platform build process, where they were just,
But they might have just papered over that with developer effort.
Right, who knows? But apparently it's taking more than zero effort. It's costing them more than zero money.
And it's worth 0.
Right.
0.3.
Right, so, and it's not a game where you pay for subscription. It's a game where you buy it and you're done. So they're not making any more money from that. It's like, how many more people on Mac and Linux are buying Rocket League? They already have it.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, we're going to stop supporting it, so you can still play by yourself or locally with your existing Rocket League patch, whatever patch that is.
Or use like Wine or Boot Camp or something.
Yeah, a new Wine version came out recently. It's like Wine 5.
Wow.
Anyway.
I have not used Wine is not an emulator since 1990.
I don't remember when I last used it.
No, 2002.
Anyway,
I was the wine expert at IBM.
The point is,
I made old shit work in wine.
That, you're not going to be able to play online once the patch goes out, or if it went out already. And you're going to have to play on Windows or on a PlayStation or on a Switch
the moral here
or
is
something else.
The only viable gaming platforms are phones/mobile, so phones and tablets.
Oh, yeah,
and
can you play
things.
Rocket League on your phone? I don't think this
I don't
Rocket
know. I'm
League
just saying in
for
general,
iOS.
like if you want to play games, there's mobile, which includes tablets. There's the Switch, consoles, Switch, PlayStation,
and
whatever,
PCs.
and there's Windows PCs.
Yep.
That is it. So, some other news: Pokemon Home is not actually technically replacing Pokemon Bank, or at least not yet, but they announced it. They announced all the deal with it, and it's interesting because I see, like, the Twitter discussion I see about this is like 1/3 people are like, yes, I have a home for all my Pokemon. 1/3 of people who are like, but it costs so much money. This is bullshit, nonsense.
Well, they charge
garbage.
money from Pokemon Bank also.
Yep.
I only paid for Pokemon Bank at the start. I'm down, and that was it. So I guess I got the free, like, whatever the period was.
Yep.
And then I never paid for it again. But I have a Pokemon Bank full of Spiritombs somewhere if I can possibly access it.
So Pokemon Bank was basically the old way to get Pokemon from various Pokemon games into a place that you could then get them forward.
Right. So the original Pokemon, the very first Pokemon Game Boy cartridge, you could move your Pokemon from the original Pokemon Red Blue, right, into Pokemon Gold Silver. And then there was a cutoff at some point, but for quite a while, they had ways for you to use link cables or DSs with, a GBA cartridge and a DS cartridge. And there were ways to transfer Pokemon from the older game to the newer game and keep bringing your Pokemon up and up and up. But there was a cutoff. And then they started again. And I don't think there was a second cutoff until the newest Switch game, which I believe
you can transfer Pokemon from a 3rd-gen game to a 4th-gen game, provided you own an original DS or DS Lite. All right.
Yeah.
There seems like
there were a few. I think there was a point where you couldn't transfer up anymore, but there was a surprising support for transferring your Pokemon.
Here, transferring Pokemon from Game Boy Advance to modern games.
Yeah.
I feel like the goal was to get it to the minimum Pokemon game that could connect to Bank, and then you were golden.
Right, yeah. Bank was
Not
it.
Pokemon golden, just golden.
Bank was it until the Switch came out, And so now they're going to have Pokemon Home,
Yep.
which
so
is just Pokemon Bank on the Switch.
now what's
it seems
interesting
like.
is people who play Pokemon on the Switch, to use all the online features, already got to pay for the Pokemon stuff. Like
Well,
the
we got to pay for the
Online.
Nintendo Online.
And on top of this, they're going to have to pay $16 a year for Pokemon Home.
So that comes out to like $40 a year.
And it still limits you to 6,000 Pokemon, which when I looked at this, I
That's
thought
plenty of Pokemon.
that is plenty. But according to a third of the people I see on Twitter, that is, to paraphrase, bullshit that is harmful to me as a person.
Well, if you're a Pokemaniac, you got more than 6,000 Pokemon.
If you're a Pokemaniac, I feel like, I mean, that's already the premium plan. If you need more than 6,000 Pokemon, you need help. Or Nintendo could offer you a like platinum plan that's like $100 a month.
Nintendo does have a history of increasing the numbers over time. So, for example, in Mario Maker, they always have a limit on how many levels you can upload. Because at the start, there's so many players, right? And everyone's uploading levels like crazy. But then as players drop off the game, they're like, okay, anyone who's still playing Mario Maker will increase your level upload limit.
Yep.
And they've done it already like 2 or 3 times. So I feel like for Pokemon Home, it's going to be like, okay, 6,000.
Yep.
All right, who's still playing Pokemon? 10,000. All right, who's still playing? 20,000.
So it looks like if you don't pay, you can't take Pokemon from Pokemon Bank and even put them in here.
Ah.
And you can have up to 30 Pokemon in there total.
Okay.
You can't use any of
But
the
if you're not transferring Pokemon from old Pokemon to new, what does Pokemon Home even do for you?
Trading with other people who play the Switch Pokemons, basically.
But you can just do that with the Switch Pokemon. Why do you need Pokemon Home?
You can't do like the Wonder Trade that's built into Home.
Okay.
They may have rooms where you can just like set up a little carpet and be like, I got a Pikachu if anyone wants it.
Okay.
And they got this judge function, which you won't get to use, that will tell you how strong the Pokemon is. They added a bunch of features that...
Right. So you need it if you're a Pokemaniac.
You basically, if you are serious about Pokemon, I feel like what you need to do is pay for Pokemon Premium, pay for Pokemon Home Premium, use the free month they're giving everyone in Pokemon Bank to use Bank if you haven't used it before. They're going to give everyone a month free on Pokemon Bank. Get every Pokemon you got in the world into Bank. Get every Pokemon in Bank into Home. Cancel Bank. Home forever. And then someday there'll be, like, I don't know, Pokemon
But what
Banquet,
about
Pokemon Glue Factory, and you move them in there.
But so
from
the
home.
new Pokemon Sword Shield doesn't support every Pokemon ever.
So you can put them all in
but
home.
Pokemon Bank supports, as far as I'm aware,
Every Pokemon.
Every Pokemon except for the ones that are new in Sword Shield.
Yep.
So
I don't know if you could. Can you transfer like a missing no or a
right.
broken
So
one
if
in
there's
there?
a Pokemon, say my guy Spiritomb, who's not in Pokemon Sword Shield, is right.
You can hang on to him until a future Pokemon supports him.
I can put him in Pokemon Home, even though Pokemon Sword Shield does not support Spiritomb.
Yep. It just means you can't put him into Sword Shield.
Aha. But I can save my Spiritomb from the grave of Pokemon Bank after it gets robbed.
Yep. Basically.
If they're still in there.
Yep. Transfers are one way. True. You can read all the details because I'm not going to explain to you exactly how this works because it's not something I'll use. I don't ever transfer Pokemon between games.
I've done it in my past.
I have done it. I will never do it in the future.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I just play new Pokemon games like, what's that? What's that Pokemon? Let's go.
Yeah. I might go and just look to see how it does.
Oh yeah, you can poke at it for free.
Yeah, I might just poke it when I get home, like get my brush the dust off my DS.
Plus, you'll get a
what's
month.
in there.
You get a month free of Bank. The one thing that I find interesting, what I don't know what Nintendo will do.
Wait, do you get a month free of Bank just no matter what, or do you get a month free of Bank if you pay for Home?
Not sure.
Okay,
but I wonder. Say I put 6,000 Pokemon in Pokemon Home, and I'm paying this money now.
All right.
If I stop paying, do my Pokemon all die? Just is gone?
We're gonna find out because I stopped paying for Bank.
Because Nintendo, this is one of those ways, like with certain unnamed MMORPGs, you can basically extort someone into paying for this thing forever, so their Pokemon don't disappear, even if they don't actually play Pokemon anymore. In some other news, we haven't actually talked about this. It's been the news for a while, but Half-Life Not 3 is coming out.
Right, so they're making a game. I'm sure
That is
everyone's
not
aware.
Half-Life 3, but it's also Half-Life
Right.
3.
It's called Half-Life Alyx. I guess you play as Alyx, the other character from Half-Life 2.
Yep.
Right, the sidekick girl. And it's a VR only game.
And it looks great.
They're trying to push their VRs, their Steam Valve VRs.
Yep. Which not to the VR landscape right now is basically there's the normal VR, which is basically like the Oculus stuff, like that kind of thing. Basically, Valve is going with their Index, which is like the high-end VR. But it's not really, I don't think it's materially better. I don't think there are significant experiences you can make with this upper-end VR that you can't make with like an Oculus Quest, Oculus like Rift, Oculus S type thing.
Right. I guess it's going to be like prequel to Half-Life 2. Like, what was she up to before Gordon Freeman was on the scene?
Which
right?
This is sort of a divide we even saw in the GeekNights forum where it seems like there are some people who primarily want more Half-Life content because they care about like the lore and the proper
right.
nouns.
Well, see, it's like I don't care about the lore of Half-Life at all.
Nope.
Like, it's like, but like, what's the deal with the G-Man? I don't give a shit, right? But the point is, Half-Life 2, Episode 2, whatever, ended on a crazy cliffhanger.
But
so
I already don't
like,
care. Like, I just don't care about what happens. I just want more games that do the mechanical type of cinematic gameplay storytelling that Half-Life games do. The proper nouns mean nothing to me at this point.
Yep. But also, it's interesting that Valve is doing this, right? And not Half-Life 3. When Valve has had like so many, pretty much all their recent attempts since Half-Life 2 ended to make games besides Dota 2.
No.
And besides Counter-Strike, but even sort of Counter-Strike.
And even worse, based on my, like, the people who have left Valve over the years and talked about what it's like to work there, I don't feel like Valve is able to retain good game designers.
No, so it's like their artifact thing. Remember that fiasco?
Oh, yeah.
So that game hasn't been updated in a year, right? Counter-Strike, for all the fact that it's still alive, has tons of fiascos going on with gambling, like even the worst possible gambling. We talk about like, oh, yeah, all these other loot box games is children gambling. Like Counter-Strike is even more literal gambling.
But also, Valve didn't make the original Counter-Strike. They bought it.
Right. They got their Dota. They got their, their Dota underlords, whatever. I don't know if anyone's playing that still, right? Their auto chess version. It seems like the League of Legends auto chess version has become the champion. League of Legends also has a new card game that seems like, is that going to beat Hearthstone? And obviously Artifact isn't in the race anymore.
TBD.
Right? It seems like the League of Legends people are making all the Riot.
But there's some controversies about Riot that have escalated recently.
Sure, but I'm just talking about in terms of success.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to be making the successful PC games.
Yep,
these
the game
days.
design is good. The monetization model
It seems
is
like Valve and Blizzard have fallen off, and Riot has taken they used to have just one game, League of Legends, and now they made an auto chess and they made a card game.
Yep.
And it seems like they're branching out and being like, all right, we're the biggest game in town. We can, Valve is weak. Blizzard is weak. Attack while they're down.
What I trust about this game, if nothing else, is that Valve does not tend to release games like this. Like, they're not going to risk fucking up their Half-Life franchise because Half-Life 3 is mythological.
They only risked it like several times.
Well, I mean, they made Half-Life 1. That was a risk, and it paid out. They made Half-Life 2. That was a risk, and it paid out.
Yeah.
The Portal is adjacent. That paid out. Half-Life 3, if they fuck it up, like, that kind of ends the franchise.
They get your Team Fortress 2. They get your Left 4 Deads.
Yep.
That's Valve.
But
Left 4 Dead.
But I feel like the fact that they're making a Half-Life game means that I feel like they're going to give it their all, and I feel like this game has the potential to be one of the few games that will take the fullest advantage of the current capabilities of consumer-accessible home VR and make one of the best possible games you can make.
I think it's going to be a game that...
You don't know shit about VR, so I'm really curious what you think.
Well, I think it's going to be FPS, right? They're going to put lots of like the way that Half-Life 2 had all like those physics puzzles.
It's going to be a lot of like hand manipulation puzzles.
They're going to have lots of like, VR stuff that's, sort of Scooby-Dooed into the Half-Life world.
Well, I think it'll be mostly that. You'll be in a room, deal with the room, move on.
Yep, it's good. That's how the game is.
Probably also some rail shooter type elements.
Yeah, it's basically that's what it's going to be like. Right.
Which I'm into.
I'm also guessing that this game will not be long.
Oh no, that's
Half-Life 1 and 2 were long. I think it will be at most the length of one of those Half-Life 2 episodes.
Yeah,
that will be the longest it could possibly be.
That's the right.
I think a lot of people
for a VR game.
I think a lot of people will get this, play it, be done with it, and then put their VR back in the closet.
Yeah, well, it'll be like the Rick and Morty game, which is also one of the surprisingly one of the best VR experiences anyone's ever made on
Not a
consumer
lot
hardware.
of competition.
There's about 12 like great VR experiences available for consumers that you can just buy. It's still a hobbyist
So it's like
thing.
an Atari Jaguar situation.
It's edging into the like I said, the expanded market. I think that it's going to grow rapidly. Still,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of good stuff in pipelines of various
I
companies.
think it's going to be more like an Atari Jaguar.
See, I disagree strongly, but you've never even done modern VRs. You have no idea what it's like. So
Yeah, whatever.
you can take Scott's opinion with the ignorant grain of salt that you need to.
Uh-huh.
But I'll play this game. Scott could play this game. I own 2 VR headsets. Scott could just try this game, but he'll probably refuse to. Thus, he won't even be able to talk about it. But I will review
I think
this
I'll
game.
be fine without playing this game. There's
All
a
right.
lot of other games I also have not played.
I know. Shockingly, like of all those games, Overwatch is the one you'd probably like the most.
Yeah, no. How about I don't play that
Why
game?
not?
Why would I play that game?
So what kind of game do you want?
What game do I want?
Yeah, like what game would make you excited? I don't feel like you get
A
excited
game-
about games anymore.
I get excited about a game that is nothing like any previous game. I don't want to see a game that's just more of a same old
So you
game.
just don't want more Tribes 2?
No, there's what previous game? There's no other game that's Tribes 2 right now.
Okay, but you've played Tribes 2, so why just play a better
Barely.
Tribes 2?
I played Tribes 2 for such a brief moment in time before
Okay,
it died. If you
okay.
go look, Tribes 2 existed for mere months, and I've been alive for many years.
We played it for about a year and a half before it completely died.
Barely. It came out late freshman year, and it died early sophomore year. It
No,
didn't
it died
even-
late soft. We played it a lot in the old apartment.
It
I
did not. Go
Yeah.
look at the timeline.
Yeah, but I know how
Tribes
much
2
I played it.
Tribes 2 did not live long.
But it was still there. Well, I also kept playing it long after you gave up.
It did not live long. It was gone by the time.
In some
I
final
played it
news,
until he couldn't play it anymore.
before we get on to reviewing some games, so there's a lot going on in the esports and esports streaming and like streamer streaming markets out there, like the Twitch, YouTube gaming, all that stuff. There's way too much to talk about, but the one I think we need to talk about that's the biggest news, all the Activision Blizzard things, so Overwatch League, Call of Duty League, Hearthstone, everything is leaving Twitch now that the contract's up. YouTube exclusive.
I don't know if they had a contract with Twitch.
Yeah,
or if they were
there was a exclusive.
Oh, okay. But the point is, right?
You get the impression that they were just waiting for this contract to expire.
Right. Well, the point is, the streaming world started out where it was all about the platforms. Pretty
Twitch
much.
spent $90 million for the exclusive rights to the first 2
Right.
seasons of Overwatch
All
League.
right. Well, it was pretty much just Twitch, right? In the early days, everyone, right? There was no other competition, and when competition appeared in the form of YouTube, it's pretty much YouTube, Facebook, and then Mixer came, Microsoft, right? So all the big boys. You got Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. All 4 of those are in the streaming video game competition realm. And Twitch was just the king because it was the oldest and everyone was there.
Yep.
So in the earliest days, all the content makers, the streamers, whether you were pro or just some kid in your house, you had to be on Twitch because that's where the people were.
Yep.
Right? So everyone went to Twitch. But now Ninja, right? For whatever you got to say about the dude Ninja and whatever,
Lot of fans.
he signed that deal with Mixer, right, to leave Twitch.
And all accounts are
so
that decimated the viewership on Twitch across the board.
So basically, people who were on Twitch, right, some of them stayed watching Twitch but went to watch other people.
Yep.
Some of them followed. They were just Ninja fans. They didn't care where Ninja was. They were such Ninja fans. They follow him wherever he goes. So that's why Microsoft was willing to make an exclusive deal with him, pay him a lot of money to
Yep.
get those people to go to Mixer. So on Mixer, he has less eyeballs than he had on Twitch, but he's got a bunch of luxury, and his life is easier. He doesn't have to stream like crazy and get subs because he's got the money from the exclusive deal. Right? And that seems to be why a lot of the individual streamers have, signed these deals so easily because it's like, I don't have to beg for subs. I can live off this, regular safe money. I'm secure, right? I don't have to have such a grueling streaming schedule and play games I don't want to play. Their life is more comfortable, right? It's a really good deal for them, so you can't blame them. But when Ninja did it and it worked out, that opened the floodgates and made people realize, this is the point at which it's no longer the platform owns the eyeballs and
it's
content,
the talent.
right? And the talent was going to where the eyeballs were to try to fight over the eyeball pie that Twitch was. Now it's people are there to see the show, right? Whoever it is, whether it's Overwatch League or Ninja or someone else, and they'll just watch whatever channel they happen to be on. It's
Yep.
you saw the same thing with like Netflix. Like everyone has Netflix, so everyone had to get the show on Netflix. Now there's other things to go to.
Yep.
So everyone goes to where the show they want to watch is. There's no one who's like a Netflix fanboy who's like Netflix good, the same way that like there was Super Nintendo or Genesis.
It seems like though there's two things going on here because Overwatch League also, it seems like one of the reasons they wanted to switch was that Twitch only has about 15 million active users. Like that's the kind of the addressable audience of Twitch today. And YouTube has about 200 million.
Well, you're counting all of YouTube. You're not.
Yes.
But if you count only people on YouTube who watch streaming games on YouTube,
yes,
that is a much smaller
yes, that's
number.
why I said addressable market, not active market or
Right.
the industry stuff. So I suspect that Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, because it's not just the Blizzard games, it's like all that Call of Duty is part of
Yep.
this. They want to have their esports on a broader, more mass market platform. That's more like recommendations for it, and the algorithms will hit like regular old sports fans. And
Right,
like
but here's the thing: is that you would think it seems obvious, right? Almost everyone on Twitch has a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And they post their clips to YouTube.
like I don't watch AGDQ anywhere but YouTube. I just
Right.
wait for the VODs on
Just
YouTube.
about every Twitch streamer, takes clips and puts them on YouTube. And people who are some people they'll follow a streamer like Ninja on I don't think Ninja has stuff on YouTube anymore if he ever did, but take for example Andy the Link to the Past randomizer guy,
yeah.
right? Andy has a YouTube, all right, and they actually make jokes in like the Twitch chat. They'd be like, "Oh, this Twitch," they'll go in the Twitch chat and be like, "Is that YouTube Andy?" And they'll be like, "Is that Twitch Andy?" Right? And there's people though who like only watch him on YouTube,
Yep.
only watch him on Twitch, care about him so much they follow him on both, right? And the thinking is there's so many people watch because like you're a streamer, you're making pretty much just as much money from people watching your clips on YouTube as you are from your Twitch subs, right? Sort of an even deal, maybe
Yep.
even
And I think it's a lot easier to make money on YouTube because of the ad stuff that I don't want to get into right now.
It could be. Who knows?
Well, this
the point
article
is,
actually talks
if
about
you're
that.
a streamer as your profession, you want both of those income streams. You want your Twitch streamers and your subs, and you want your YouTube clip, monies also, right? And the thing is, you would think it'd be obvious that you'd be able to translate that audience of people who watch clips of streamers on YouTube to then click on like a related thing. You pop up on the side. You're watching a clip of someone who streamed yesterday, and they're a YouTube streamer, and there's like a thing like, hey, they're live now, bro. Click here.
Yup.
But you think that's so obvious it would work, but it doesn't seem like it has worked. Not a lot of people watch live streaming games on YouTube. It's way smaller than it feels like it's smaller than I don't have numbers.
Well, like-
but it feels way smaller than even like the Facebook gaming and the Mixer. It feels like YouTube's in last place.
So there's even more here. There's an area where Twitch just cannot compete. Part of the move is that Activision Blizzard is also going to host all the shit for the live streaming and the tournaments and the esports in the Google Cloud, and the Google Cloud will drive the streaming through YouTube. Twitch does not have a cloud platform you can host your infrastructure
they
on.
do. It's Amazon Web Services.
Yeah. It's not quite the same integration level. Google appears to be providing services on top of that. Like they're doing something here, and they're integrating the ad network and AI in a way that might be ominous. I'm reading the article here. In addition, Blizzard plans to use Google AI for ads. Quote, players will have the optimal personalized interactions as Activision Blizzard can tap into Google Cloud's AI tools to offer curated recommendations for in-game offers and differentiated gaming experiences.
I don't see it as I don't feel like any of the platforms are technologically better or worse than others. I mean, the Facebook obviously is the worst interface because it's all Facebooky. But I mean, why did they go with Google? I don't think it's because Google's better. I think it's because there was probably a bidding war for this contract. Right? Google won.
It's hard to say because
right. It's just how these things do.
Yeah.
If Twitch would have paid more money to keep them, they would have stayed, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
I think Google offered incentives.
yeah, well, those incentives are part of the they're half of the deal, right?
But it does look like Activision Blizzard also saw more value in being on YouTube. based on a bunch of the commentary I'm seeing here.
Whatever. The point.
I mean, this is new enough news to where I don't have any like insight. I haven't talked to anyone. I'm going off of Kotaku articles here.
I think that the main
I mean, this article was posted today at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, the main point is not that one streaming platform is better than the other. That's like saying one TV channel is better than the other. They're all just channels, right? It's that we have now reached this breaking point. We are
no, you know what they are? They're ecosystems.
We are definitely past the point at which the platform is no longer the eyeball holder. Platforms now must fight over the content because the content's the streamer or the content makers are now the eyeball holders in this realm.
Which gives all the platforms even less reason to support non-monetizable tiny streamers in any real capacity. So,
but it hasn't stopped any social media site from letting whoever the hell post tweets.
Yep. God, total aside, but all you young kids need to remember that the only reason email works at all is that machines you never see block 99.999% of all emails anyone ever sends you. Twitter and all social media needs to do the same thing and block 99.999% of all posted content from anyone ever seeing it. But I digress because it's time for... Saving this really quick. I was about to say, why is it taking longer to save than usual? That's because I'm recording the second half of the live stream because it's a review that I can put on YouTube standalone. I put all our board game reviews on YouTube as standalone videos. Just the main bit. Things of the day. I think I've linked to Big Clive a couple of times in the past, but he's the guy who will take apart like dodgy Chinese electronics he buys off eBay and talks about how dangerous they are. He'll like look at circuit board. Like it's a really fun channel. He'll blow stuff up, but he posted something that was so amazing. And I watched this whole video and I'm still dumbfounded this fucking thing exists. So now he's reviewing MREs from armies around Europe and the world.
Oh, okay.
Like I got a Lithuanian MRE. It's about a year expired.
So expired, I wouldn't eat it, but it depends. But the point is, I mean, it's probably going to have like Lithuanian kind of food in it.
Yeah, no,
like
the videos are great. Like these army ration videos are already great.
Like you get like an Indian one. It's like those aren't too different from like the bags of Indian food you get at the grocery.
I've gotten and eaten MREs before. They're sometimes they're an experience.
I mean, they can't be that much different from like airplane food.
They're
probably better than airplane food.
They are,
but
the problem is they're richer.
Yeah, and you need a lot of nutrition because you're military-ing.
And MREs are the ones that you tend to eat like in combat, like that night while you're still like fighting, like that kind of thing. So, but this video is a Scottish army ration. It's the winter calorie.
Oh, is it full of haggis?
All right, Scott. No,
it definitely has haggis.
It's actually just ramen.
Oh,
but yeah, so here's the deal.
This is not. I mean, it can't be a good thing of the day if the Scottish army ration doesn't have haggis.
So it's a winter ration, meaning it's extremely high calorie.
Haggis.
What do you think it uses to heat up the food? Because it's an MRE, it has to be completely self-contained.
You know, in Japan, they have those things that are illegal in the U.S. where you like pull the string and then it heats up the ramen.
A lot of MREs use different kinds of things like that.
That kind of thing.
No, this one's fucking radioactive powered.
What?
Yeah, what indeed? Watch this video. Holy shit.
What?
This is a radiation powered
You can't
MRE.
eat that.
Yes, you can.
What?
I kind of want one. It's amazing.
Wait, is it? What? Why don't we buy a whole bunch of them and then...
Yeah, you get this radioactive thing. You drop it in your ramen. You can just cook ramen anywhere.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's reusable.
Oh, it has some iron brew.
It has, oh my God. It comes with like a bottle of whiskey, some iron brew.
Iron brew.
Some
Okay, so
ramen.
there was something Scottish in there.
Yeah. I saw the iron brew. Well, it's funny.
Peanut M&M, the best M&M.
Yeah, Emily and I were watching this, and we were like, their Trident ingot ration heater, fucking radioactive shit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wait, why don't we search on eBay for Trident ingot ration heaters?
I kind of want to get one. Like, that would be cool.
Buy a lot of them, and then someone will pay us a visit.
I kind of want to get just one, Because that would be that's a party. You know the
Don't
party
heat,
trick
you can
of
heat your
like.
own, heat your own food with that.
Like, if you're at a cocktail party and you're like, oh, let me heat my tea, and you pull out a fucking radioactive heater, and be like, I'm going to heat my tea with this thing.
it's all
But
you.
While we were watching this, I joked with Emily, like, I wonder if it comes with whiskey. And then, of course, it came with whiskey. And then I was like, well, it didn't come with any iron brew. And then, sure enough, he's like, what do we have here?
And so, I mean, I called the haggis. I mean, I didn't think of iron brew until I saw it. And I'm like, ah.
Yep. I was laughing so hard I had to rewind the video.
Right.
So what's your thing of the day?
So you may remember back in the day, right? It was a series of animated shorts, the Senpai Club.
Oh yeah, make the YouTube account was
made
like
by animation pair of people named Make Babies.
make baby.is.
Right. So I was supporting Make Babies on Patreon, right? Like $1, whatever.
I forgot all about him because their last video was 11 months ago.
Patreon recently added this feature that is a very tight integration with Discord.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about using that.
And what it does is basically, if you are Patreoning a Patronus, right, and they set up a Discord, and you link I linked my Discord to my Patreon account. Anytime anyone that I patronize makes a Discord and links it to their Patreon channel, I'm automatically joined and inserted into their Discord server without even asking for it. And as a result, once this feature was established, like I opened up Discord and suddenly I was added to like a pile of servers. And I was like, well, who added? Am I logged into the wrong account? Is something? I realized Patreon added me to all these Discord servers. So
but all these communities sort of formed, and like some of them are rocking.
But it seems to have worked. There was actually one Discord I was in already that I was patronizing, and before the feature was implemented. And then when the feature came online, suddenly a pile of users appeared. Right? But yeah, so suddenly I was in the Make Babies Discord just out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, I guess
that's got to be a good community of people.
It's not that many people. But I was like, hey, I guess there's activity going on in that realm that, I thought was lost. Right? And then suddenly Make Babies posted this video on their YouTube channel.
Uploaded 2 days ago.
Called Menagerie.
Oh my God, this looks so cute.
Right? And it's a short, hilarious animation that seems to have been done it seems like a student team animation kind of deal, but it is very high quality.
Oh, wait. Goblins. All right.
Right. And the Make Babies person worked on this.
Yeah, made for a 3-day animation jam at Goblins.
All right, so I don't know if this... so it's made for a jam. Okay, I don't know when it was made, but it is very well made, very hilarious, and worth watching whether you like, Senpai Club or not, because there's nothing to do with Senpai Club other than that one of the creators is involved.
I'm into this. It's funny. Scott links me to this.
How long is the video? It's like 2 minutes? Yeah, it's like the funniest 2 minutes you'll have today.
Scott links me to this, and he's like, this is my thing of the day. And I look at it, like, okay, this looks cute. And then he's like, look at it. And I keep looking at it. Then I see the YouTube channel. I'm like, make babies.
Make babies.
Whoa.
How was Baby formed?
In the meta moment, we are back from PAX South. The video of our panel from PAX South, the 41 tabletop games you must play, is on YouTube. The slides are linked. The list is linked from the YouTube. It's all there. You can just watch it.
The schedule for PAX East is live at east.paxsite.com.
And we are doing a panel that will be new to a lot of people at PAX East.
We did it. We did this panel once at.
This is one of my favorite
PAX
panels
South?
we've done in recent memory.
MagFest.
Yeah, this panel.
Oh, Unplugged. No, we did it.
Yeah,
Unplugged.
we did Unplugged.
Unplugged. We did it.
But I like the content of this panel a lot. Like the moral is good, the slides are good. Like I love doing this.
It's
panel.
not a clickbait panel.
It's a good panel. But it has a clickbait title that'll fill the room.
It's not that clickbait.
I don't know. Take your fucking turn. I feel like that brought people in.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, it means that we already have a good YouTube video of this, so we don't have to bring any of our cameras to PAX East.
Okay.
So
I won't then.
Yeah. So if you have not seen our panel, take your fucking turn. It's just on YouTube. But for people who have no idea who we are, who just go to PAX East, at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday at PAX East, in the Bumblebee Theater, we will be doing Take Your Fucking Turn.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a good time. I had them flag it as 13+, because I'm just going to keep saying fuck in the panel. Like, I don't even want to have to think about that.
I've not seen too many people below the age of 13 at our panel.
No, but plus, PAX.
And I don't think anyone even notices that.
The hosts of PAX, Mike and Jerry, in the opening address to the convention, which is not flagged 13+, say the word fuck at least 1,000 times.
All right.
So I feel like we're good there. Otherwise, PAX East will be lit. Scott and I and most of our friends, except a couple of them, I see you, will be enforcing in the evening. So you will not see us between 6 and midnight unless you hang out in the respective areas that we enforce.
I see a lot of people when I'm enforcing.
I do see a lot of people when I'm.
Well,
it is a scary number of GeekNights fans like come up to the main theater entrance because usually all but one of the nights I basically run the entrance by myself for like hours and hours and hours at a time. A lot of listeners come up and hang out, which is.
I usually see people in line when they're checking in and checking out their board game.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you there. And now let's talk about board. Oh yeah, and the Geek Nights Book Club book is The Tale of Genji. Just read it. It's about Genji.
It's
kind
gonna
of
take
a dick.
you a while.
It's not that smart. Maybe you'll
It's
see.
hot.
Genji. I feel like everything I've read so far is just kind of throwing shade at Genji by showing Genji being Genji. And everyone I've met who is not Genji seems like a better person than Genji. All right. Time of crisis. The Roman Empire in turmoil.
Right, so so our friends bring this grognard-looking war game out.
Well, the box looks like a grognard war game.
It's a GMT game. That's the company that makes the grognard war game.
Yep.
Right? So you're looking at this thing and you're like, this is not, what's this going to be like, right?
What if I told you it is a deck builder?
Yep, like Dominion.
But it's a deck builder where every turn, at the end of your turn, you pick up your entire draw deck, choose the 5 cards you want to draw, and put the rest of your draw deck back down.
Right, so that's a real work of genius, right? Think about Dominion, right? So Dominion is the first real deck builder, right? And it sort of set the stage for all other deck builders. They all follow the basic template of...
And nothing has been better than
right.
Dominion.
You have a deck, right? It starts out with just a few cards. You draw some. You play them all. You put them all in the discard.
Yep.
You acquire more cards that also go in the discard, and then you draw more. But you shuffle and draw randomly. It's like, well, what if you could just stack the deck and draw whatever 5 you wanted every
But
turn?
everyone's stacking the deck.
Well, it's not that everyone's stacking the deck. It's that, okay, you're stacking the deck. So for people out there who obviously are more likely to have played Dominion, imagine you're stacking the deck in Dominion. Turn 1, fucking 5 coppers.
Yeah.
Turn 2, what? 2 coppers and 3 estates? It's like...
If you blow your load on a big turn, you're effed until that discard reshuffle.
Right, what can you do? It's like, okay, and then you shuffle again. So all right, you got mine, now I do it again. All right, I'm going to do 4 coppers and the village that I bought or whatever. Whatever card it was that I bought, right? It's like... But then you get to the end of your deck and your discard is full of all the good cards that you stacked to make beautiful hands. And, I mean... in Dominion is a little different because you can do the infinite draws.
Yep.
So stacking your deck would be ultra powerful. But there's another thing. You can't do that in this. So stacking
There's nothing that lets you draw cards during your turn.
So stacking your deck in this game, it removes randomness, which is actually good. It makes it more a game of skill. And it doesn't really help you cheat. It's not OP because if you give yourself a strong turn, then you still have to go through the whole deck before you can access the discard pile. You're going to have a weak turn. And it's about choosing, all right, maybe I'll take the weak turn on purpose. Maybe I'll try to mix the turns together, right? The other thing is that there's text on some of the cards that does stuff, right? But really, what the cards are...
3 currencies.
There are 3 different currencies.
Influence with the people, influence with the Senate, influence with the military.
And those 3 currencies are used to buy actions, which are the real... You have like a menu of actions that all cost action points. Some of them cost yellow, some cost red, and some cost blue. And most of them cost at least 2. I don't think many of the actions cost 1. So it's like if you're, as you stack your deck, okay, I want to do this blue action, so I'll take 2 blue cards in my hand. I want to do that red action. Ooh, I bought a strong red card earlier in the game that is on its own worth 2 red. I'll put that in my hand. And I want to do this yellow action. Well, that costs 3 yellow. Well, I can't put 6 cards in my hand.
So you sort of like plan your next turn.
Right. You're picking the action points you need in currency from your deck of what's left of it anyway.
But, and here's where the game gets fascinating. Like, this is what makes this game good and why, like, we played it multiple times at a PAX. When we could have played other new games. Like, it's rare we want to play the same game more than once.
We played it 1.5 times.
We pretty much got to the end of that one game. It was over. The writing was on the wall. And I would play it a 3rd time. Like, I would play this again. I like this game a lot. But the deck building in this game is actually a rondel builder that just happens to use cards. You're basically just building a rondel.
Yep.
And you're filling it in front of you. You're basically, and the brilliance of this is that it basically makes the game have a very real world war game like abstraction. Because the game's at essence really kind of a war game. Basically, I make my plan at the end of my turn. So I look at the board, I think about the things I want to do. I could make a really complex plan where I have the exact number of points from my hand for the next turn to do something specific and powerful. But that might not work out if someone attacks me that I didn't expect. Barbarians invade. The board state changes in a radical way, and now I have to react to this terrifying new world. So I might choose instead a more safe or neutral hand to be able to be reactive. So you you plan and you invest in a path, but then you have to react to the world when your turn comes about, because if you've invested in a military in the real world and then some shit goes down somewhere, it's not like you can just teleport those soldiers somewhere different.
Yeah. Also, like we said, the cards are currency points for to buying different actions that are the actual doings.
Yep.
Right. So you start the game with, I think, 3, 3, and 3. 3 blue, 3 red, 3 yellow.
Yep.
And it pretty much takes at least 2 to do a meaningful action, So you can't really do like all 3 different kinds of actions in one turn.
Yep.
You're going to have like a military kind of turn or a people kind of turn.
So you got to debate about like where are you going to focus? What kinds of things do you want to do? Where are you at risk?
Right. You can't balance it out. You can't be like, I'm going to do a little bit of everything every turn because your hand's not big enough. And you also can't be like, I'm going to go all military this game. It's like, okay, you go all military in turn 1, and turn 2, you have 1 red card left you can put in your hand, which does nothing. Right? You can't. You have to do all 3 things, and any given turn will almost definitely be not hitting on all 3 notes. It'll be each turn will be focusing on 1.5 of the areas of the game and ignoring 1 area of the game pretty much completely. Like, well, I did my military this turn, I'm not doing any next turn. I did a little bit of people this turn, I can do a little bit of people next turn, but not too much on either turn. And only in the latest late game, when you have super strong cards that you've acquired from winning already, basically, you can do a whole bunch of things in one turn.
What?
But then your next turn will still be crappy because you just spent all your huge cards in the first turn.
So kind of an aside, but I just saw this picture. I don't want to lose this train of thought. My main complaint with the game is that it has some like UX and mechanical problems.
Well,
like
because it looks like a Grognard war game, so all the UX and graphic design of it is Grognardy.
Like, to know your purchasing power and everything, like, you got to look at things. Like, you have to confirm numbers several times just to make sure you're doing things right.
Yep.
And the first thing I said after I played the game once was, if you just made a simple player aid, this game would actually go a lot faster. Like,
Yep.
I envisioned a very simple...
you could just take the same exact game and re-theme it.
No, the theme is perfect. I don't want a different theme.
Well, you like the theme, but the point is, if you just made it look like a Euro, right, or like a root style, you could totally pass this off to just everyone, and it would be like a super popular game.
But the board is fine. The UX...
The board's okay.
The board is fine.
It's okay.
I mean, you never actually looked at where barbarians could go was your problem.
No, I mean, I looked at it, but the point is, it's not like a beautiful board, right?
Yep.
You could give this game just a graphical only makeover, and it could be like one of the most popular.
But you don't even need to change the board.
Is.
You just need to make a handful of player aids that sit next to the board.
I mean, that
have
would
tokens on them.
That would help significantly. But I'm saying, if you just made this not look like a Roman thing.
But the problem is the UX, not the UI.
I mean, I'm just saying to sell it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna buy the Roman thing.
I mean, I'll buy the Roman
The
thing.
mechanics of this game are 100%.
But I'm looking at this player aid for
Euro
the
game.
AI because you can like have an AI in the game, and it's pretty close to what I would have made as a player aid for the game itself.
Right, but I'm saying the game is, it's the Romany parts of it are parts that Rim likes, but they're not parts that, the theme is not.
The theme is pretty
popular.
like even the core mechanics are pretty tied to the theme. That's the other thing.
They are very tied to the theme, yes, but those
that makes for a very natural heuristics that make the game objectively better. For example, there's Italy in the middle and all the other provinces. It's a Roman crisis game. You're putting your governors out in places.
Yeah, you can make it a fantasy theme and it would be fine.
But here's the deal. One of the cool mechanics. So one of the things you're tracking is you get points every round based on like how much control your dudes have in all the different regions and like how much you've invested into them, like having buildings and things. But you also track how many turns you were the emperor.
Yep.
Meaning you control Italy.
That's really the number one way to get points.
That is super neat. It's
Yes.
almost like a King of the Hill game that's happening in the middle of the rest of this game.
Right, but the thing is, right, unlike real King of the Hill, right, which has, the same sort of problems as last hitting in MOBAs.
Yep. King of the Hill in this game just gets you points, but
Right.
also makes you vulnerable.
It's not about, King of the Hill type rules often get wrong is that whoever's on the hill at the end wins, and that can be good, but usually it's meh.
Like
right?
Tribes 2 did it
'Cause
better.
you'll
It was
play
who held
really
the flag for the most number of seconds.
Right, it's like you'll play really, really, really well and dominate the whole game, and then at the very end, you finally run out of steam. Someone pushes you off, and they win. They are the official winner, and that feels like bullshit because you dominated all that time, and that seems like it was much more difficult and much more worthy of being called the winner, right? So this game, it's like, yeah, you're getting points for the number of turns you were on top. It doesn't matter if you're there at the end, right? It just matters who is there the longest, right? The longer you're there, the better. If you got up, fall down, and get up again, and you're up there twice, that's great. That's just as being good as being up there twice as long. And even if you say, dump on the last turn and have a sad ending, because Rome,
Rome.
yeah, you'll still be declared the victor
Like in
by
the one
having
game we
the most
played,
victory points.
I get into a really precarious situation, but then like everyone else got into some bullshit, and I ended up in Italy, but really weak. But everyone else was so stuck dealing with their own crap that I kind of just hung out as emperor for a few turns. Like I just held on because everyone really wanted to unseat me, but no one was willing to spend their whole turn doing it because they had other like much more important things to deal with.
Right. Well, also mechanically speaking, there are many games out there that have a variety of victory conditions to choose from. Or if they don't have different victory conditions, they have different ways to get victory points. You could go, say, Crown of Amara. You could get bread, or you could go book, right? In this game, you could go and, as a way to get victory points, try to be the emperor the longest, and that will totally help you get a lot of victory points.
You can also be popular in the districts that you control.
Yep.
Or fight barbarians.
Right. You could just be popular in a few places, or somewhat popular in a lot of places. Like, okay, Rim, you're the emperor the whole damn game, but I'm super popular everywhere else.
Yep.
And you're just the puppet emperor. All right.
Commodus, no.
Right.
Well,
you guys are all popular and whatever. I went around destroying all the barbarians, and all of these different ways to get points are equally strong. I can't say that like one of them is just better than the others.
Yep.
Right? It's like, you can win in any of those ways.
And one, you gotta balance how you're approaching the game. Two, you have to react to what the other players are doing.
Yep.
And three, the game is more like a war game in that there's a lot of random bullshit that happens.
Well, the barbarian fountains are random.
The barbarian fountains are random. The event cards are random. Like, shit just goes wrong all the time.
Yep.
Zenobia came up like right away and then was like messing with Italy in both our games, just randomly. But that's fun because that uncertainty is what makes this more like a war game.
Well,
and gives it more naturalistic heuristics.
Well, because of this deck stacking, right? There is no other source of randomness besides the barbarians and the event deck. Therefore, without those, you would just solve this game and be like, this is the optimal play. Try to start in these places, stack your deck this way, buy these cards in this order.
Or at best, it would end up turning into Hansa Teutonica, where the game is purely reacting to what other players are doing in a cycle.
Right. Now, the randomness could affect one player more than others, but
that's war games. Sometimes Africa just gets overrun early, and that sucks if you were there.
In aggregate, it goes after everyone equally.
Yep.
So even though the barbarians happen to overrun Rim this game, right, it's like I still had to prepare just as much for barbarian invasion because it could happen at any moment.
Yep. Or I take a risk and I don't put any armies in Africa because I got a plan.
And then barbarians happen there. It's like, well, oops.
But maybe they don't, or maybe I got Federati and I'm good to rock. I'm going.
Yeah, but that's a gamble still.
It is a gamble.
And it's a gamble for everyone equally, even though, the tide might splash upon one player and not another. Everyone still had to pay the price of gambling, one way or the other, or playing it safe.
And I'm not going to explain all the mechanics. Like, I'm not going to teach you this game. That would be like
No,
a
we
whole
already taught
video.
you the core mechanic of the game is deck building game where you stack your deck, but you still can't access the discard till you play the whole
and your
deck.
buying power to buy more cards is based on your popularity and control of provinces.
Yeah, and there's several ways to get points.
And control is
being
only with these-
emperor,
Yep.
being popular, and killing barbarians, and all three of them are equally viable ways to get points. You're probably gonna have to mix it up to some extent.
And there's a bunch of fun little mechanics. Like the only one I'll talk about, like you can have militias, then you got like Roman legions and all this stuff, but there's mobs.
Oh,
If
the
a-
angry mob.
The funniest thing about a mob
The
is
angry mob is the fuck you stick. It's like I want and Rim's winning. I put mobs on Rim.
but mobs are real funny. There's other things that can cause mobs, but basically if a mob
It's usually putting them on other players.
If a mob is in your territory, like you have a governor in a territory and there's a mob, then if you don't deal with that shit before the end of your turn, you get less popular. And if you're too unpopular, you just get replaced.
Yep.
Like you're out.
Yep.
One way to deal with a mob is to, if you have a legion there, just go kill it.
Mm-hmm.
But then people get pissed off.
Oh yeah, there's two different ways to remove
Or you
a
can
mob.
build circuses.
Yeah.
You can run games.
Yeah, you can remove a mob with red military cards, but that costs you popularity.
You can placate
or
it
you
with
can,
yellow
right,
people cards.
You can placate the mob with yellow cards.
Or
and
you
that's
can
much,
build an amphitheater, and then the mobs will stay, and they'll still be
but
a
they
problem.
won't grow.
Because also at the end of your turn, if any territory has a mob,
It gets-
daddy two mobs.
It's a bigger, angrier mob.
The mob just keeps growing until you deal with it, and the bigger.
But
it
if
is,
you
the-
have a coliseum, the mob just stays flat.
Yup.
It's like, all right, you gave me a mob, but I have a coliseum, so it's going to be one mob.
last game we played, I
forever.
just kept a pet mob for a couple turns because I didn't want to deal with it. I
Right.
was
There's
too busy.
also a building you can build that will deal with barbarios and convert them to your armies. As long as your army is mostly Roman, that's
No,
sustainable.
yeah, the card Federati will do that. The building just means when barbarians come into a territory where there's limes or limes,
Yeah.
they'll come in flipped over, like inactive.
Yeah,
like they're
but
not
then
rampaging
but
yet.
then they're easy to bring in.
Yep.
Right? You don't have to fight them, right? You can
you have
just
to fight
sorta-
them next turn if they're still sitting there.
Yeah, but they'll just kill themselves effectively if you played the Federatis.
There's a
Anyway.
lot. There's a lot going. This game is meaty and fun. There aren't really other
Don't
games
be
like it.
right. Don't be fooled by its grognardy war game look. It's basically an awesome Euro game, just like all those other awesome Euro games you're used to.
But with a lot of the
it's not
kinds
any
of,
harder than a Dominion or a Small World.
but with
or
a lot of the war game type
Splendor.
mechanics that make war games interesting. There's a lot of
It's a little
emergent-
harder than a Splendor.
There's a lot of emergent behavior, a lot of narrative will come about, and the kind of planning you do in the game isn't the math of my next turn so much as the I need to focus on this area of the board or this type of thing next turn,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to be mindful of the fact that based on that, I will have fewer options until I reshuffle my deck.
Yeah.
So do I blow my wad now? Do I save my wad for a later turn?
Yeah,
What
and
do I do?
Also, not enough can be said about a game. There are lots of games that do this, where they take a mechanic from another game and sort of let you cheat. It's like, well, that would be cheating in Dominion, so you get that extra fun of feeling like you're cheating and it's okay. But then the game is actually good, so it doesn't. It's not that strong.
Yep. I
But
feel
you
like
get- but it's fun to do a thing in a game that feels like cheating in the game the mechanic came from. So I feel like that's actually for game designers out there. Find a game that has a mechanic and there's like an obvious rule for that mechanic that, yeah, obviously you can't do that. That would be crazy OP and cheating. But then make a game where everyone's allowed to do that and it's not OP.
Yep. And if you keep doing that, you'll just make Dune.
Maybe.
But yeah, I feel like I want to own this game. I think our New York set would like this and play it.
Uh-huh.
And I would
When's the
play it
last
again.
time we played any game
in
in New York?
In New York? Well, we haven't been in New York for a while is the problem. Like every weekend I'm out of town or something.
Uh-huh.
Last weekend I was skiing.
By the
so-
time you're ready to play a game in New York, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, but then I can easily bike to your place where there's critical mass because there are 4 gamers in
And
that
I
building.
won't be there. I'll be biking.
Yeah, I'll also be biking. But then that night we'll play a game.
I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, don't go to bed early, old man.
I'm going to go to bed right now.
All right, good show.